Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Leonard. So today I wanted to start a series of episodes discussing the different types of abuse. In order to identify domestic violence, we need to know all the different ways people abuse others and what it looks like. It's important to understand the ways people abuse others and what it looks like in order to truly understand domestic violence. So first up is physical abuse, which is what people most often associate with domestic violence in general. Physical abuse is defined as any intentional act causing injury or trauma to another person by way of bodily contact. In relationships, this may look like hitting, punching, forcing you to use drugs or alcohol, or preventing you from eating or sleeping. These are just a few examples. There are many more. While physical abuse is often characterized by marks or bruises, that's not always the case. Surprisingly, physical abuse can be as simple as pulling hair or driving recklessly with a partner in the car. But these are things a person physically does to their partner to cause harm or create fear, so they count as physical abuse. When physical abuse starts during the beginning of a relationship, it often escalates and gets worse over time. It's also common for physical abuse to start when a change is made in a relationship, such as the other partner considering leaving the relationship or if they get pregnant. To put the severity of physical violence in intimate relationships in perspective, here are a few statistics. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men aged 18 and older have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 10 high school students have experienced physical violence from a dating partner in the past year. And the presence of a gun in domestic violence situations increases the risk of homicide in women by 500%. More than half of women killed by gun violence are killed by family members or intimate partners. Because physical abuse is this common, it's more often talked about than other types of abuse in relationships. But just because it's talked about more doesn't mean the situation is improving. Physical abuse is easier for onlookers to identify, but unless the victim reports the abuse, there aren't really any consequences. The abuse is used to create fear, causing the victim to not get help out of fear they'll be treated worse, so nothing happens, and the cycle continues. In order to break the cycle, we must have more resources for victims of physical abuse so they can escape safely. Relationships where physical abuse is involved are often the most difficult and dangerous to leave. A lot of the time, the best way for people who are physically abused to leave their relationship is to escape and change their lives, for example by moving, or to have legal support such as a restraining order to protect them. But these documents are harder to get than people often think. Restraining orders require a lot of evidence people usually don't know to collect. Domestic violence situations are incredibly difficult to get away from because of the fear violence is so commonly used to create. No form of physicality that causes a partner harm or fear is acceptable, and there needs to be more accessible ways to break the cycle of physical abuse in domestic violence situations. If you're experiencing this in your relationship, know you deserve more and should not be treated this way. Anyone who harms or scares you does not love you the way you should be loved. Love doesn't hurt. It is my goal with the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast to create another resource people can use to understand their experiences, get help, and know they're not alone. If you need immediate help, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START in all capital letters to 88788. You can also visit their website, thehotline.org, for more information. Thank you for listening to the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast. I hope you learned a little bit more about physical abuse in intimate relationships and how important it is to break the cycle of domestic violence. I hope you all have a great day, and remember, spread love everywhere you go.